Hello, everybody. Welcome to Art with me, Mr. Bentley. When I was a little kid, I always wanted a Christmas tree, but my family was too poor. We could never afford a Christmas tree. Now that I'm older, I'm rich. And I still don't have a Christmas tree.
What's this?
You know what I do have? I've got talent and the creative mind, which means I can make my own Christmas tree using art materials. And so can you. I'll show you.
Everybody, let's make a Christmas tree together. I'm going to show you how to draw and paint a Christmas tree. Here we go. To make and draw a Christmas tree. First thing, we want to start by drawing our triangle. The Christmas tree is going to be a triangle shape. Okay, that's the closest shape that we can figure out for a Christmas tree. And triangles have 3 points, so you want to connect all 3 points using 2 diagonal lines and a horizontal line at the base. Going down right in the center all the way to the bottom, I just made a point right there to show where my trunk is going to be, the tree trunk at the bottom of the Christmas tree. I'm going to give it kind of a rectangular or trapezoidal kind of shape. Always keep in mind the shapes that you're using to draw these things, because if you don't keep the shapes in mind, then you won't ever have in mind how to draw something. Anyway, I'm drawing now the base, the bottom, the ground where the Christmas tree is on. It's going to be a nice snowy ground with 3 hills, which are kind of like 3 lumps that we see underneath the tree. I'm going to use the paint in my palette, blue, yellow. Blue and yellow, when you mix them together, they make green. So if you don't have green paint, just mix blue and yellow. I have white that I'm going to use as a highlight color, and also for the snow. Can't have snow without the white, or it'll be dirty snow. I'm painting my paper right now with some water just to get it nice and ready for the green paint that I'm going to mix together. So I'm mixing blue and yellow in my palette. It's going to give me a nice green color for my tree, an evergreen. And remember when I put the water on the paper? Now this paint is going to flow nice and good when I start painting inside of the triangle. I sectioned off my points with my green paint, and see how I'm sliding the brush from one point to the other side. I just go back over it to make it smooth. You want to give it nice smooth strokes when you lay down the fill color. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm filling the shape with color. This is called your color fill. So the main color that I'm going to be using is the green for the green evergreen Christmas tree. So I fill it with my solid green color. This is done before you add any shadows or highlights to your paint. You want to give it the main base color first. Some people call this a wash. When you add the water to the paint or to the paper, so it can kind of wash the canvas or wash your paper with that tint of color. So yeah, I'm just washing my fill color into the triangle of my Christmas tree, making sure I stay within the lines. I mean, it's not 100% necessary you stay inside the lines. I just want my Christmas tree to be clean and disciplined. So as an exercise, you can try to stay in the lines. And if you go out the lines, that's okay. We're going to use those mistakes for later on to make them look great. Watch. Okay, because I got a little bit out of the lines right there, as you can see. Now I'm using my dark blue. This is going to be a shadow color or an offset color to the green. This gives the impression of the tips of the leaves on the Christmas tree. Can you call them leaves, or are they needles? Christmas tree needles. I don't like the way that sounds. I'm going to just say leaves. So look at that. The contrast is contrasting already. It's popping. The colors are popping. So look at that. You keep on adding some blue leaves all over the Christmas tree. At the top, do it at random. Don't just stay in the same spot. If you stay in the same spot, it's going to look boring. So please move around with it, but try to still show some kind of constraint. You don't want to make a bunch of wiggly lines. You want them to look like actual leaves. Okay, so we've added a darker color to the green to give that contrast of the light green to that dark blue. So we definitely need a highlight. Okay, I'm going to use yellow as the highlight to my green and blue color, because when you think about the color wheel and which way or direction light travels, it goes from red to orange to yellow, green, and then blue. Yellow, green, blue. Those colors are right next to each other. I'm tongue-tied. Those colors are right next to each other, and they're called analogous colors. Okay, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Analogous. I hope that's how you pronounce it. But anyway, yellow, green, and blue, they're right next to each other, so they give each other that good harmony. And that's what we like too. We like harmony. We like contrast, but we also like harmony. Contrast, it leads to harmony anyway. Everything different ends up being one or the same or whatever. Let me stop trying to sound poetic. Okay, so here is my beautiful Christmas tree with contrast and highlight. So now I'm going to add some light blue, adding to those yellow highlights. I'm going to add some light blue. If you don't have light blue, you can mix white with the blue, and then you'll get light blue or sky blue, or even mix it with a little green. Experiment with your colors. There are different kinds of colors, different kinds of tones of colors. Green is not just one green. There are different kinds of green, and you got to make sure those different varieties of tones and shadows are within your painting. Otherwise, your painting will be flat. And if you want a flat painting, I guess that works. But I don't want my painting to be flat. I want it to have some depth. So I'm adding these different values of color. And I'm doing it in very small strokes, kind of like Vincent van Gogh. If you don't know Vincent van Gogh, he did The Starry Night, and he's an amazing artist, amazing impressionist artist. And we say impressionist because, he painted these little strokes or little impressions. And then he built them up, and it just made an awesome painting. I'm putting the dark blue underneath the Christmas tree because that's where the shadow is, so I want it to be dark down there. I'm gonna add some more. Blue to trace the snow at the bottom, because that snow is reflecting the dark blue or the blue night sky. It's also reflecting some of the green that's in the tree and some of the blue at the bottom of the tree. So we need to show that reflection. So I outline these little snow mounds, and I'm going to put some darker blue, some more opaque blue inside these little crevices, because that's like in the back and that's where the shadow is. For the lighter blue, I just added a lot more water to the blue and washed the blue out, so that way it can have that transparent look, which we need to give that crystalline, snowy landscape, ethereal feel. I hope that makes sense. And it just doesn't sound like a bunch of words. Look them up if you don't know what those words mean. Ethereal, word of the day. I love that word. Anyway, I'm putting my wash of blue, and you can barely see it. It's kind of transparent, which is great because then I can just keep adding to it in these little light layers, these thin layers of blue, because we still want that white to highlight and pop through the snow. We still want that look, so you got to make sure to be very subtle with this. Don't just scrabble the paint into the paper. We want to keep all of that white, and notice the contrast between the white and that blue. It's creating this nice snowball softness. It's really, really beautiful. So you can add some more water to stretch that. I wouldn't add any more blue paint at this point to the snow, but just stretching that paint around with the water is good. Now we're going to make the tree trunk. To make brown for the tree trunk, you need red and green. So if you have your green mixed, just put another spot for some red, and you're gonna mix that red and green together to get your brown. Now brown can be tricky to mix. It can be tricky to mix the color brown. So what you want to do is experiment. You're probably not going to get the same brown I get. You're probably going to get different browns, so you can make different spots on your palette for the different browns that you want to choose from. That's what I would recommend, because sometimes you might get a light brown, sometimes you might get a dark brown, and for the sake of painting in a tree trunk, you want to have that variety anyway. Wood has different kinds of browns, different tones of browns inside of it. You might see some parts that are like light brown stripes and some parts that are dark brown. And remember, a balanced and a painting that has depth is going to give you that feast to the eyes of tonal color. Okay, so I'm mixing my brown on my palette, and I'm going to apply it to my tree trunk, and let's see what kind of brown I got. I think it's good. I'm gonna add a little teeny bit of blue to there, just so it could be a little bit darker, because remember, we make yellow and blue together make green, and green and red are some of the building blocks for brown. So let's see what brown this is. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna put that on my paper. Oh, that's a nice brown. You know, that's a good one. It's kind of like a flesh tone brown. You can also use this brown if you wanted to paint someone's skin. This is a good, decent brown for the bottom of my tree trunk. It's very yellowed, kind of glowing, which I like, because I'm gonna make this tree glow with some lights. Watch me do it. First, I'm gonna use this end, the blunt end of the brush. I'm going to use it to make some snowballs, some nice glittery snowball or light effects on my tree. So I'm using the blunt end of the paintbrush, and I just dip that into my white paint, and I'm just do little dots. And this can be very therapeutic, so take your time, go to different spots, be random with it. Be slow. You don't have to just tap all over the tree. I would suggest you take your time with it and make it beautiful. You can put these white snowball dots on the snow as well. Put them right at the bottom on top of those mounds of snow, and it will give the impression, there's that word again, the impression of snowflakes on the ground. That shimmery, holly jolly snowstorm that we like to see on a white Christmas day. So I clean my brush because I'm going to use the same effect to make the colorful Christmas lights on the tree. But before I do that, let's make the star. I'm going to start with a yellow circle, and to make a yellow circle, here's a trick. You can just press your brush down on the paper and give it a twirl. Just give it a twirl in that one spot that you made a point. And look, I got a yellow perfect circle. Maybe it's not perfect, but it is to me. Now I'm going to make a star inside that yellow halo or glow. I make a 5-point star, and then I connect the points. A 5-point star, I believe, is called a pentagram, or pentagon. Yeah, those two are tricky. So use the dictionary for that, please. And here I have my star, and it's looking good, and it's glowing. It's a typical glowing Christmas star, but I want to give it some extra pizzazz. So I'm going to take some yellow, and I'm going to make that halo of dots or points going around my Christmas tree star topper. That looks good. I really think that looks great, and I know yours probably looks just as great, if not more great than mine, but we'll see. Maybe you can show me later. Now it's time to put the lights on the tree, and I have my colors in my palette, my red, my yellow, my blue, and I'm gonna just do the same effect that I had with the blunt end of my brush and the snow. I'm just tapping or dotting my red lights on the tree in different spots. Make sure you don't do it over another white dot. We want those white dots to stay as they are. So you want to go for spots that don't have the white dots and just dot in your red. You know, if you can also use a cotton swab or Q-tip. That's the brand. You can use cotton swabs to make your Christmas tree lights. So I'm going over with the red and putting some at the bottom because the bottom of the tree needs lights too. Don't forget about the bottom. Okay, so yellow it is. We got red, yellow, and white so far, and just go all over your tree with these glimmering lights. That's like the best part of Christmas tree is the lights that's on it. You know, it's so gorgeous to see lights. I mean, even if you don't have a tree in your house, you can make a tree by taking the Christmas lights and just putting it on the wall in the shape of a triangle. And there you have it, my beautiful Christmas tree that I never had, but now I made one. And you can make one too. I would love to see your own Christmas tree that you created, and maybe even add some flair and pizzazz to yours that I didn't put to mine. So show me what you got. I'd love to see your Christmas tree. And if I don't